Hi guys, welcome to another Divi theme video. This is Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Well, we got a fun one for you today. As you can see, we got a couple of little hover effects here. We had a great question. We did this with one of our Divi 4 sites and somebody said, well, how do you do this with Divi 5? It's pretty much identical. You can do exactly the same thing. We've added a little icon up here to let people know something's going to happen when they hover over it. Obviously on desktop, you're going to see it automatically. But of course, hover effects on tablet and mobile don't work, or at least they don't work as hover effects, but they can tap on them to achieve exactly the same thing. That's why we've added a little icon there. Really easy to do. Let's show you how to do it. Okay, well, I got my page open here. I've got a little row with 2 columns in it. Let's add a new one and we'll start from scratch. I'm going to add a new row. Again, I'll throw 2 columns in it. And for simplicity, let's use the call to action module again. No button there. You probably know that the button's not going to turn up until you put a link in for it. With the call to action, just put your title in there, what you want your button to say when it turns up there, and what you want text-wise down there. There's a little bit more text than I particularly want, so let's get rid of a bit of that. Now to add the button, just down below, we've got the link. As soon as you put a link in for the button, it's going to show up just like that. Fantastic. And of course, you can add another link if you want to. Button link's only going to work when they click on the button. If you want to add it for the whole module, anywhere they click on it will go to whatever link you want in there. And for both, always best practice. If you're linking to your own site, leave it in the current tab. If you're linking off-site to somebody else's, open it in a new tab. That way, your site will stay open. Great. Well, we've got our little call to action there with the button. In fact, while I've got that, let's just duplicate it because I'll use the same next door. All right, 2 little squares to duplicate. And then I'm just going to drag it over here. Perfect. Save a bit of time in a minute. Okay, so our first one here, we want it to change color like we had with our top one up there. If I go back to this page, we had a simple color change going on there on hover. Extremely easy to do. I'm going to click on this call to action module, make sure we're in the correct one. As you can see, it says we're there. I'm going to go over this little icon right here. Looks like a little laptop computer or a desktop computer. If I left click on it, we're going to go down to hover, little arrow right there. Now that we're in hover state, we can go to design and make any changes that we want to appear when they hover over it. For that particular one, I was using a filter. So if we go down to filters, I was actually using invert, which will invert the colors. On a color fit wheel, the opposite to blue is an orange or a yellow, depending on the hue of the blue. So if I pull this all up the other way, to the right hand side, you can see it turns it orange or orangey yellow, whatever color you want to call that. Now here is the really important part with Divi 5. Once you make your changes that you want to see when they hover over it, make sure and go back up here to the little arrow, left click on it, flip it back to desktop. If you do not, any changes you make down here on any of these tabs, on any of these settings down here, will only appear when they put their mouse on it. And that's probably not what you want. So make sure you switch back like that. Okay, so we got that on regular and we got the yellow or orange on hover. Time it takes to go from one to the other is 300 milliseconds by default with Divi. We can change that if we want to by going over to our advanced here. If we go down a little bit more, you'll find transitions down there. There's the default 300. Let's up it to maybe 500 milliseconds, half a second. Don't want 5 seconds. There we go, perfect. And while I'm in here, don't want any delay. I want it to happen as soon as their mouse hits it. Transition speed curve, I tend to use ease will work, but my preferred for these hover effects is ease in out. Just seems slightly smoother to me. Okay, well, we've got that one. Let's check it out on the front end. Let's save our changes here. Now I've got the page open, so if we just refresh, it should appear there. Perfect. And if I roll over this one, you'll see we've got that color change. It's taking 500 milliseconds to go from the blue to the yellow. And of course, the writing is white, so the opposite of that is black. Stands out really well. Very good. And I'll show you how to add that little icon in a moment. Let's do our second one, which was an image to text. Or if you prefer it the other way around, you can make it text to image. But I've got a call to action button there. So I'm going to make mine image first and then text so that they can click on the button. Again, really easy to do. I'm sure some of you may be ahead of me on this already, especially if you've seen any of my other hover effects videos. Okay, well, let's play the same game. Let's say we want the image first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on my call to action over here, make sure that we're in the correct one. We are. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back one so that we're in the column that it's sitting in. As you can see, it says column there. If you're not sure, you can go into your row just to double check. Go into your row, you can find your columns always under content and element to make sure you're on the right one. Just click on it right here and we're in the correct column we know about now. Now we're going to add that image to our column here. Background's always under content. So if we click on it, there's our little background image. Let's throw one in there. And let's pop that crazy car in, perhaps, whatever you want for yours. Now, of course, we can't see it because our little module's sat on top. But we do want to see the image first. So what we can do is go to our filters again. Like I say, I'm sure you're ahead of me on this. Make sure you go back to your call to action. We're not in the column anymore. We're back into our call to action module, design, down to filters, where we were before. This time we're going to use opacity instead of invert, which will make that invisible or visible. On the left, it's invisible. On the right, it's fully visible. And anywhere in between, you can have gradients. So initially, when we first see this thing, I want it totally invisible, just so we can see that nice picture of the car. Perfect. Then when we hover over it, you know what we've got to do. Go up to the top, click on the hover state, bang it back, so we get the call to action. They can read it, they can click on the button. And again, make sure you flip it back from hover to desktop. Save any problems. And again, with the timing, I'm going to slow it down so we've got a bit of grace. Over in advanced again, positions, there's the transition, 500 mils, half a second, and ease in, ease out. Like I say, ease will work. In some situations, you won't see much difference between these, but in certain situations, some are certainly going to work better than others. So do have a play and see what works for you. Well, all right, let's save it. See, it's going to work on the front end. We'll refresh this page one more time. There we have it. When I roll over, it's going to take a half a second for our call to action module to roll in. They can read it. They can roll over the button, click on it, go to the link. When they take their mouse back off, of course, it's going to disappear and our image is going to come back. Great. But as we mentioned earlier, on tablet and desktop, on tablet, I might want to switch those for one column like we got up there. It'll work, but they're not going to know without actually tapping on it that it's going to work. So that's what we did up here. We added a little icon. You can choose to show it on desktop or just tablet and mobile if you want to. I'll show you exactly how to do that. Let's flip back now. What I'm going to do, I'm going to go to my first call to action here. Once I'm in it and I hover over it, we've got our little black box down here that we can add a new module. I'm going to simply add a new module underneath it. I'm going to use an icon for mine. And there's a couple of little tricks we're going to show you with this. So choose whatever icon you want. Let's say click. Whatever works for you. I'll put that little mouse in there. I used a little hand icon or an arrow before up there, but it's entirely up to you. Choose whatever icon you want. Now that color's not going to work. So I'm going to go over to design. I'm going to change it to a white. It's going to disappear in the background there. If we go down to icon once we're in design. I'm also going to take it down in size. I know you can't see it, but I'm going to make it a lot smaller, perhaps 20 pixels. Let's try giving it a background and see if it highlights it a bit. We can do that over in content and background where we were adding the image before. We'll just add perhaps a black color. There we go. We can kind of see it there. We want it to be able to be seen on all kind of different backgrounds, whether it's a light one or a dark one. That's why I'm putting the background in. So now we've got that little black background in there. We'll give it a little space over in design with a bit of spacing, funnily enough. And let's just give it perhaps 3 pixels top and bottom. And maybe 3 pixels left and right. I'm putting the 3 in and I'm hitting the chain. It's doing the opposite side. Really, I want that to be a square because I'm going to make it into a circle. I don't know if that makes sense, but we can use the borders to make this into a circle only if we've got it as a perfect square. So I'm going to get it pretty close. What do we think about that? I think that's okay. Now we can go down to our border underneath, border radius. Put a high number in there like 50. We've got the little chain check down below, so it'll do all four sides at once. Got a little circle. Obviously, adjust yours how you want it. Okay, well now, I don't want this thing down here. I want it up. Well, personally, I want it on my left-hand corner. You can put yours wherever you want. I'll show you exactly how. Because we don't want any space under here, because that's certainly not going to work for this one, as you can see here. So still in the icon, we're going to go over to Advanced, and we're going to go down to Position. I'm going to flip it from Default to Absolute. Now, what Absolute does, it'll enable us to position it anywhere within the parent container. The parent container being the column that our call to action and our icon are sitting in. As you can see, it's jumped up to the top left-hand side there. If you want to, you can put it on the right, in the middle, right in the middle, bottom right, bottom left, whatever works for you. Like I say, I want mine on top left. I'm going to bring it in just a little bit from the sides with a bit of vertical and horizontal offset just below. I think I'll use 5 on each. That seems to work. Perfect. Now, we haven't got a problem here because we added this module underneath our call to action, which automatically gave it a higher Z index. You see Z index down below here. If it doesn't appear for you on top, it may be hiding behind, and you can just put a nice high number in here, and it'll make it shoot on the top. Now, as you can see, I've put a bunch of 9s in there, which is pretty high number. We didn't have a problem, but if you have that problem, that should fix it for you. That high number dictates how things stack. High Z index numbers will always appear on top of things with lower ones. So if you put 999 on there and put anything below 999 as the Z index on the call to action, it will ensure that that icon fits on the top. Great. Well, let's try this. I'm going to save it again. And we'll refresh one more time. And we've got our little icon up there. And of course, we'll still do the hover effect. Now, there's one thing you need to be aware of. As we've done that, we hover over this, it's not going to activate the hover effect when we're on the icon. It's only going to happen when we're off it. So if you want people to click on something and they click on that, nothing's going to happen. We can get around that with one little line of CSS code. It's really easy. Don't let it put you off. If we go back here to our page, make sure that you're in your icon. If you can't get to it, it's a little hidden under my row thing there. We can go to wireframe mode on the left-hand side here. There's our icon. We can get to it that way by just going into it. Flip back when you're ready. As you can see, we're in the icon. I'm going to go over to Advanced, down to CSS, to Module Elements over here, the tab. I'm going to go down to the main element of our icon here, and I'm going to write a couple of words. I'm going to write pointer, P-O-I-N-T-E-R, dash events, E-V-E-N-T-S, colon, and the word none, N-O-N-E. And what that does, that will allow our cursor to go through that little icon there and click on that one. So the hover effect will work. And if we save that now, I'll prove it to you. We go now to our hover effects over here. And of course, refresh. Now when I hover over the icon itself, it is activating that because the pointer is actually going through it to the thing below it. And that's a handy little thing to know. One little line of code. Really simple. And it couldn't be easier to add it to this one. Like I say, I'm sure some of you are ahead of me on this one. If you're not, I'll show you. Let's go back here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to wireframe mode again because it makes it a lot easier. I'm going to duplicate the icon. I'm going to drag one of them across, dump it underneath our call to action there. Resave. And all I did was left click, pulled it across and released. Now if I refresh here, we've got our icon on our other one there. Perfect. Now, if you don't want to see this on desktop version, just want to see it on tablet and mobile version, really easy to do too. What we can do is just go into the icon. We're actually in this icon at the moment. I'll just do it with the 1. Still in advanced, we can close up our CSS. This time we'll go down to visibility. We can decide to disable it on desktop and just have it appear on tablet and phone. If I resave this, we'll go back to our page. Let's just refresh this one more time. And you'll notice that there's no icon here on desktop. But if I flip it to mobile or tablet version, I'm using Google Chrome with the inspector tools here. If I hit my F12, here we have it on iPhone 12. And if I roll down to the correct one, there it is right there. That one we didn't do. But this one we did. And as you can see, it's got that little icon. And if they click on it, it's going to bring that module in. Click off. It's going to get rid of that module for them. And it should be there also on the iPad version. Roll up a bit. Here it is. They're both appearing there on the iPad. Again, if we click on it, that's going to work. If we click on this one, I know we didn't change that one. It's on all versions there. It'll work too. Click off, change back. Perfect. And then we can get rid of this. On desktop, you'll see on that orange car one, that icon's not there. But of course, our hover effect works. And as you well know, hover effects on desktop are fantastic things. People are mousing around. Things like this happen. It gets their attention really quickly, which is exactly what you want. So there we have it, guys. There's two little hover effects, really easy to do. I was going to say no coding, but we've put one little line of CSS code in there for that icon. Really effective, really easy to do, as you see. So I hope you've enjoyed this today and found it useful. If you have, please give it a thumbs up, ring the bell, comment, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Don't forget, if you have any questions either about Divi 4 or Divi 5, pop them down below the video. I'll do my best to answer them for you, or make a little demo video just like this one. So once again, this has been Jamie from System22 and webdesignertechtips.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.